Yes, Peaq have announced, quite exciting really, that it's now possible to get 2 to 4x rewards. Pretty exciting announcement, and I'm going to get to that. But I spent most of the day in the Discord, and there are loads of questions with this thing, so I thought, why not keep you guys up to date and answer a shitload of questions. So the purpose of this video is to pass on the information that I've managed to ascertain to help you make an informed decision. What I'm going to do is I'm going to rattle through these. So that's what we'll do first. But the whole purpose then is, like I just said, to make an informed decision based on what we know at this stage. In particular, if you're already holding Krest, should you be buying some more? Should you not? Should you be entering into Krest at all? Some of you may not want to. I'm also going to be revealing how you can see where you can sit in the rankings, which is very interesting. Along with going through, should I say, how the reward's going to work based on the information that I know at this stage. So plenty to cover. Do it in 2 phases. Let's get these questions done, and then I'll go and show you some documentation. Ooh, that sounds exciting, doesn't it? But at least you can see where I'm getting this information from. Right, let's go. So, is it too late to qualify for the airdrop? No. How many Krest tokens do you need to qualify for it? 2,000 minimum. Are there 2 airdrops now? No. It's just in different phases. More on that shortly. How do you qualify for phase 1 of the airdrop? You simply need to own 2,000 Krest and have it in a talisman, Polkadot, Nova wallet, and one other one that escapes me, but we'll come to it shortly. And that's all you need to do. Alright? Just hold it in there. Has a snapshot been taken yet? No, it hasn't. Is it known when it will be taken? No, we don't. We just don't know when it's going to be taken. How do you know if you can still qualify for the airdrop post release of this video? You just go into their Discord, which you can do. The easiest way is to go to CoinGecko and just click on Discord and get that way, guys. They did have some difficulty with it a couple of days ago, but I think it's now fixed. And in there on the left hand side you will see airdrop info, and if that post is still there, you can still qualify, and I'll show you that shortly so you know what I'm talking about. So what is the value of phase 1 of the airdrop? It's 1 million, alright, $1 million worth of Peaq, but importantly it's at pre-sale prices. Do we know what the pre-sale price is? No, we don't. I don't anyway. Obviously those who bought in a pre-sale do, but we don't. How many account holders are there with 2,000 plus Krest? As of this morning time recording, there's 5,292. How is it determined how much Peaq each qualifying holder will receive in phase 1? This is based on how long you've been holding Krest for, and also the amount. Now, what takes precedent? I would imagine it's the amount, but I do not know. That's all I do know at that stage. Okay. Where are we? Number 11. Are there any wallets that don't qualify for the airdrop with more than 2,000 Krest? Yes. Apparently, not confirmed by a member of the team, but somebody in there, it would appear that the biggest 10 to 15 wallets do not qualify. So that's good news for the rest of us, because otherwise they could be hogging taking quite a lot of the airdrop, couldn't they? So that's good news. Is it possible to see where you sit against other holders based on the number of Krest you own? Yes, I've figured this out. So I think that's just really interesting. I'll show you shortly. When is Peaq going to launch? We don't know. Apart from it's going to be Q2. It could be May. It could be June. Is there going to be a public sale for Peaq? Yes, there is. This has been confirmed. Who will qualify to get in on the public sale? We don't know, and I must admit I was disappointed, because you'll recall, some of you saw my previous video, even though it is called a public sale, I don't know, and I was wrong, unfortunately. I thought there might be some benefit to being a Krest holder, but being a Krest holder has nothing to do with the public sale. So if you're not already into Peaq, or Krest should I say, then this is obviously important information, because you can potentially get Peaq at a lower price without even having to buy Krest. So, really important point. Is it known when the public sale will be? No. Not at this stage. We'll have to wait for announcements. Will the public sale be before phase 1 of the airdrop? Yes, it will. Have Peaq's tokenomics been released yet? No, they haven't. Does Peaq have a roadmap? Yes, they do. And how does phase 2, the 2x and the 4x rewards work? We'll have a look at that now. So this is the announcement. This was on the 23rd, so day before yesterday. And I'm not going to read all this for you, I'm just going to give you the gist. So, as you can see, the first phase was what I was saying, it's 1 million worth, and you just have to do what I basically said, so I'm not going to dwell on this. Now, this is what we're here for, isn't it? So the bonus Peaq airdrop phase. Good news is, there's 2 million, and I have checked, and that's in addition to this 1 million, so there's potentially 3 million in total. Okay, of Peaq tokens up for grab, shall I say, depending on which option you go for. So the gist is here really. Let's just go through these points. You've got 2 options here for two times the amount or for 4 times. So the no additional Peaq acquisition is you obtain and hold a minimum of 2,000 Krest tokens in a non-custodial base wallet. Once the bonus phase cutoff date is announced, so at least we're going to know when it's announced, you move all or part of your Krest tokens to the Peaq network. Instructions to follow. You exchange half your bridged Krest for Peaq. You provide an equivalent value of both Krest and Peaq into Krest/Peaq liquidity pool. You hold your tokens in the liquidity pool for 6 months. And after 6 months, the appropriate amount of Peaq tokens are sent to the same wallet you originally held in Krest in. Alright? Do that, and you get up to twice as much as what you would do as if you just hold 2k Krest in your wallet. Alright? Now, obviously the key difference being, though, you get if you took phase 1, you'd obviously get the airdrop sooner, whereas this you have to wait 6 months. You need to bear that in mind. And also another good important point, it says up to. We don't know exactly what amount that will be. Alright. Additional Peaq acquisition. So this is if you go for the 4x or up to 4x, should I say. You obtain and hold a minimum of 2,000 Krest, same as before. Once we get to the bonus cutoff date, and that's been announced, you move all or part of your Krest tokens to the Peaq network. You obtain, now this is the difference, you obtain additional Peaq to match the value of your bridged Krest. Alright, so you need to be considering if you've invested in Krest already, if you've got the funds to be able to do this. Alright, you provide an equivalent value of both Krest and Peaq, again into the liquidity pool. You hold your tokens in the liquidity pool for 6 months. And then after 6 months, the appropriate amount of Peaq tokens is sent to the same wallet you originally held Krest in. Alright? And you can see here it confirms it. If you take the first path, you'll be eligible to receive up to double the amount of Peaq compared to you would have done if you received in the initial airdrop phase. If you decide to take the second path, you'll be eligible to receive up to 4 times. Alright? Important note. Airdrop calculation will be based on the original amount of Krest you held in your wallet on the Krest network and then used to provide liquidity on Peaq network. And this is the other bit where they make it clear. Another point worth mentioning is that there are not 2 separate airdrops. Instead, there are 2 phases in the same airdrop. So, to reiterate, those who decide to participate in the bonus phase will not receive any Peaq tokens in the initial phase. Instead, they'll only receive the 2x amount of Peaq from the bonus phase once the 6-month period has passed. Also, there'll be no surprise airdrops ever. So, kind of decision time, guys. Really, I'm a bit frustrated, really, because I paid quite a high price for Krest because I feared they were going to close it, and that's turned out to be a mistake. But I knew it was possible, so put big boys pants on and accept it. But yeah, it's kind of disappointing, even though it is a public sale. But it's good news if you've not got in. Another consideration on the math point of view, if you were to divide the 1 million by 5,300, just slightly rounding it up, I think it works out $188. Not a lot. And the other thing you have to consider, and let me show you this, is the amount of wallets. All right. And also you want to do, so these are the big boys. All right, these are the big boys, and the first 15 don't qualify, so that's good news. But what was interesting is I've had a flick through this, and right, look at this. There are 213 pages of holders, and it's clear most are just doing 2,000. Look here, 2,500 were on page 87. So you're well into the top 50% if you were to buy, if you just currently sat on 2,000 Krest. Significantly, one would imagine, increasing your potential for the airdrop. Yeah, and you can see how minute some of these changes are. So you've got to consider, if you're already invested in this, and also you've got to consider what's going on with the market. You know, at the moment it's looking pretty crap, isn't it? But who knows whether we'll suddenly fly to the upside or we'll go down. But it's worth being mindful of, depending what price Krest does go to. It's something you may want to consider, because if you're sat, you know, in the 2000s, and I'll put the link in the description for this so you can have a look, you're going to be down here. And I think it all depends on really what your plans are and what you're wanting to get out of this, because if it's to get in the public sale and for the airdrop amount, then it may not be worth it. But having said that, the other consideration is the Krest token itself. See, another important point here is, what I like what Peaq have done here is they have taken good steps to protect the price of Krest, because Krest is required for phase 2 and both options, isn't it, as we've just run through. So therefore there's going to be a lot of Krest going into there. So that's a good consideration. Another thing is obviously what you feel Krest can do in terms of price. You know, you shouldn't just be buying it solely for the airdrop. I think that's a pretty clear point, really. And you know, you've got to consider that. And also, I mean, by the way, if you're liking this, before I forget, if you're appreciating this content and you want to be kept up to date, why don't you just give it a like and subscribe, guys? And also, at some point, I'll probably be doing a price potential video on Krest to further help you make an informed decision. So something I've added to my list to do for you guys, as well as myself. I want to know myself, but anyway. But yeah, I thought this was an important find, and I don't think enough people are taking it into consideration. So, and also, if you hold Krest, it's probably advisable you go and find yours. I mean, the chances of somebody owning the exact same amount of yours, or unless you know this, of course, is a good job to check. I've checked mine, and I'm pleased I'm in there. So, anyway, I digress. Let's get on to some of the other points. So, here's the roadmap. So there's an update Peaq and Krest holders. There's the public offering announcement. Then for the ambassadors, most of us, that doesn't apply to us. Then there's the launch and token listing, and then you can see the rest and stuff. All right, but this is the area that we're interested in, isn't it? Now, I also want to point out, someone kindly let me know, whilst it's not known about the tokenomics, the initial supply is going to be 4.2 billion. Now, of course, we do not know what the price is going to be at this stage, or what its market cap, but there's been a lot of speculation, you know, between 500 million to 1 billion. I think that's where a lot of people think this thing is going to get launched at, but I think it's going to be an absolute beast. I'm very excited for it, and I think a lot of people should be. Let's not forget, this is, you know, thought to be, or projected to be, should I say, the home of 50% of Deepin. Let that sink in, and Deepin is just getting bigger and bigger, isn't it? And also, dumb money is going to understand it. Yeah, they really are. In my opinion, obviously, you decide on that. So, really, that's as much as I managed to find out now. Now, there are a few other questions that I'm seeing asked that answers have not been provided yet, such as if you were to stake it, can you sacrifice that and then, or sacrifice your bonus and pull it out early? And is it then vested, and all the nitty gritty on that? And at the moment, I just don't know those answers, guys. But I will endeavour to find out. But as a summary, my view is, and really echoing what I did in my previous video, if it's just for the airdrop and you're just thinking around about the 2,000, it's probably not worth it. And I stress probably, I don't know. But yeah, I'd be very cautious if that's the case. That said, if you've got a bit more money and you can skip past quite a lot of those holding 2,000 and you see the bigger picture, you're really into this coin, potentially like IMC, you've got real conviction in it. And also you are then open-minded and looking at the great potential of a 2 or 4x and willing to go all the way with it, then holding Krest, I think, is something that potentially could be a good move. I'm glad I do hold some. So, yeah, there's not a right or wrong answer. I think it depends on what phase you are, how much you're already committed to it, and on what you want out of it, and ultimately what role you see it playing in your portfolio. So think about your narratives. You know, are you in enough deep in coins and so forth? Because I expect Peaq to do very, very well, but equally there's plenty of good little deep in projects that will do exceptionally well. Unfortunately for us in the UK, we're limited to some of the best ones, but that's a story for another day. Anyway, it's gone on for long enough, and but yeah, like I said before, if you enjoyed this and you want to be kept up to date and see the price potential video of Krest, please don't hesitate to subscribe and give this video a like. All right, cheers guys, take care, bye bye.